welcome to Ready, Set, Eat. I'm Leslie, and today we're here at Trattoria 225 with chef and owner Craig Charlton. Hi.
Hi Leslie, how are you today?
Great. So what are we cooking?
Today we're going to do wood-fired pizzas, which is really what we're very well known for. We're going to do two pizzas. One is going to be a fresh margarita pizza, and then I'm going to have you make one of our signature pizzas, the Greek pizza.
Okay, let's get started.
All right, great. Come on over.
So what do we do first?
Well, in order to make a great pizza, we got to start with a great dough. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out to about 11 inches. That's the size of our pizza. So we want to make sure that our surface is well floured. And then what we're going to do is we're really just going to use our hands. We do a hand stretch here, making sure that we have a level crust all the way through.
And when you're cooking at home, what do you suggest that people do for their own dough?
Well, you know, there's a lot of dough recipes out there. We sell our dough if somebody really likes our crust. But, you know, best thing you do is try different doughs. Now, one of the things that we're going to do as well before we put it in the oven is we want to use a docker. So if you want to give that a run, you can see there's little bubbles that are making their way up from there, and that's good. That means that the yeast is active and that the dough is going to be very fluffy.
And at home you could use a fork? You
could use a fork, absolutely. It just helps to knock those bubbles down so that when we put it in the oven, all your toppings aren't going to fall off from that bubble. We use two different types of peels. This is the wood peel that we use to put it in the oven. We want to give this a little bit of semolina on top, or you can just use regular flour. Spread that out and drop your dough right on the top of that.
And you would do the same thing with a pizza stone?
You could do it, well, what you want to do at home is you could use a cookie sheet. Just make sure that you've got plenty of the flour underneath so that when you do slide it into the oven, it's not going to stick. All right, so we'll get these and we'll get ready to put our toppings on.
Great.
The first pizza that we're going to do is going to be a margarita pizza. And we're going to do this with heirloom tomatoes. These are really beautiful. We've seasoned these up with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. And what I like to do with the margarita pizza is just give our crust a really light brush of extra virgin olive oil. It really adds a little bit of flavor, and it also helps to keep the tomatoes on the pizza crust. We can use all these tomatoes if you want to spread them out evenly right up to the edge. When we put it in the oven, this will make a natural crust when there's no toppings on it. We're going to top this with a fresh mozzarella. And these are just some small fresh mozzarella balls. We put about 12 to 15 on here. So if you want to give me a hand putting these on. After we finish this up, we're going to top this with a little bit of fresh basil. You know, a lot of people are growing basil in their garden. It's been a pretty good year for herbs this year. I generally use about 4. And generally what I'll do is stack them up. We like to use squares on these. And we want to put the basil on after it comes out of the oven.
What happens if you put it on before?
You know, some people do put basil in on their pizzas or even in pastas when they're heating it up. It tends to turn black and you really lose a lot of that fresh herb flavor from the basil. So we finished up our margarita pizza. We're going to put this aside. And what I'm going to have you do is make one of our signature pizzas, the Greek pizza.
Great.
And this is one of my favorites. It's actually a vegetarian pizza. And it's really, really well liked by our guests. The first thing you're going to start out is with a little bit of our fresh pizza sauce. And you can probably put, I'd say, most of that right on top. And there's a lot of ingredients here, but it's really bursting with flavor. So you want to get that even topping of the pizza sauce all the way out to the edge of the pizza.
And how did you come up with this combination for the toppings?
You know, this was a special pizza that we ran. We run weekly specials here at the restaurant, and it was so well liked by our guests. They kept asking, you know, when are you going to have that pizza again? I said, finally, let's put it on the menu. Again, we're going to use some of the fresh heirloom tomatoes that we got at the market. Again, a little marinade, a little olive oil, a little salt and pepper just helps to give a really nice flavor with those tomatoes.
And if you were making this at home, would you suggest that maybe if they're using a jar of sauce to mix fresh tomatoes?
Absolutely. The great thing about making pizzas is there are no rules. You can put any toppings you like on there. It's really up to your individual taste. So we've got the tomatoes on. We're going to put a nice layer of our house cheese blend.
All of this?
You can put it all on and get it all evenly spread throughout the pizza. Our house cheese blend is a mixture of mozzarella, provolone, and sheep's milk Romano cheese. The mozzarella is a good melter, which helps to spread the flavor. The provolone has a nice sharp flavor, and the pecorino romano has a nice saltiness to it, so it's really a good flavor. The next ingredient that you're going to want to add on to here is some very thinly sliced red onion.
Okay. How much are we doing?
You just want to, again, you want to have pretty much even ingredients so that one flavor is not overwhelming any of the others. So get a nice topping on there, so that each slice, once we cut it, is going to have equal amounts of the toppings. Perfect. Kalamata olives. These are pitted Kalamata olives. They're Greek olives. Very strong, very briny, but great olive flavor. So you want to go fairly sparingly on the olives because they are very strong in flavor.
What would you say is the favorite guest pizza?
You know, I think the margarita pizza is very popular, as well as the BLT pizza, which is a very unique pizza that we do. It's with roasted tomatoes. We do a little bit of our house cheese, pancetta, which is an Italian bacon, and then we pile that after it comes out of the oven with some lightly seasoned arugula.
Wow.
So it's really, really good.
Sounds great.
Lastly, we're going to give this a little, just a very light sprinkling of oregano. Adds that really Greek flavor to it. And these pizzas are done and ready to go into the oven.
I'm excited.
Well, this is the fun part, is getting these pizzas into the oven. The traditional way is we use this as a wood pizza peel, and we use 2 pizza peels when we're going to be making pizzas in our wood oven. Right now we're at about 630 degrees, which is about the top temperature that we cook our pizzas in. Okay, before we put this in the oven, we want to make sure that we got a little slide on here, because otherwise the pizza's just going to flip over. And we're just going to pop it right in the oven.
Okay, I think I can do that.
All right, just drop it right in there. Perfect.
So how long are these going to cook?
You know, these pizzas at 600 degrees, a little 600 plus, will probably take a maximum of 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, and if you were going to make a pizza at home, what tips or tricks would you suggest?
Well, the first thing you need is, again, you need a good pizza stone. We heat this oven up starting in the morning. So the best thing to do is to get that pizza stone as hot as your oven will go for at least an hour. So crank that oven up, put your pizza stone in, let it get real hot, and you'll get a nice crispy crust, just like you can get off of the wood oven here.
So when people come and they order a pizza, they actually don't have to wait any longer than they would for any other entree.
Not at all. The pizzas here are very, very quick.
And so how long have you guys been here?
We just had our 2-year anniversary, June 28th, and we actually celebrated it on the 4th of July with a pig roast and a barbecue here.
And how did you decide on Harrison Street?
Harrison Street was a place that I really fell in love with about 3 years ago. I used to ride my bike up and down Harrison over to Columbus Park, and just really loved the people that were here and the spirit of the street, and it's really been great for us.
So we're all done?
This is the one that's done. This is the margarita that we had.
It looks great.
Let that sit for about 30 seconds because we like to let the cheese set up. If we cut it now, what we would find is that the cheese would melt off. We'd lose a lot of that toppings. But we can top this with our fresh basil now if you'd like. You can go ahead and drop that on there. That's perfect with the fresh basil. The one thing that we're going to have to do is give these a quick cut and get a nice glass of wine to go along with these pizzas.
I'm excited.
All right, well, let's get rolling.
Okay. Everything looks and smells delicious.
Well, it's great. Thank you so much for your help today in the kitchen.
Oh, thanks for having us. It's excellent.
I'm going to have to try a slice of yours.
So if people want to find out more about your restaurant, where can they go?
www.trattoria225.com.
Okay.
And we're also on Facebook, so you're more than welcome to become a fan of the restaurant.
And what are we drinking?
This is a really nice Reserva Ducale by Ruffino. It's a great Chianti. Would go wonderful with any of our wood-fired pizzas.
Cheers.
Salud.